Welcome to the Business Boys Talkin Business Virtual Power Lunch. Please welcome your hosts, Tyler Price and Brian Magleby.
Wow, we're here.
We're back together,
back.
finally. Man, it's been, what, 2-3 weeks?
Something. Forever.
Wow.
Yeah. Last week we had a crowded set, but
Yeah.
it was well worth watching and listening to. They got some amazing things happening up in Rexburg.
Man, I had a lot of people call me after that interview last week with Mayor Merrill and Scott Johnson. Man, those two are making things happen.
Yep.
We sat and talked after, and man, they got even some more things they didn't even announce on the show that was just absolutely phenomenal. So,
Yeah. No, it's good to see, like, when these, and I'll say, that college has been there for a while, but as it comes into its own, I hate to say that because, again, it's been there for a long time, but as it kind of comes into its own and really, I think there's going to be some amazing business that comes from just the kids that are up there.
Yep.
So,
and the town is really refining itself, and man, Scott Johnson's just a dynamic leader up there, and of course Mayor Merrill. I've known him since I was 2 feet tall, so he's anyway great guy up there, great businessman, great leader in the community, and it was great to have those two on the show. So thanks for stepping aside for a week and letting me hold the fort. Hold the fort anytime. I shouldn't say that. So you'll be opting out more often.
Yeah.
So all you need is another freaking trip to Florida. So
yeah, it's coming.
But what's the date today?
Yeah, you're the one that keeps announcing. I had no idea. I don't pay attention. So I'm going to let you.
22.
Yeah.
And the show's happening at 2 o'clock, and it'll be on at 2:22 on 2/22/22.
That is a bunch of twos.
It is.
It's got to mean something.
It is.
Somebody
And,
tell us.
My kids were telling me all the cool things that it is last night, but I didn't write them down, of course.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, great. We got a great show lined up today. We've got Aaron Ferris. He's the boss over to the aquarium. I think he's the owner of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he has done some great, phenomenal things over to East Idaho Aquarium. Everyone I've heard that's been there it gives it raving reviews. So we're going to learn a little bit more about it from Aaron Ferris. He's the president. That's what I wrote it down, of East Idaho Aquarium. So he's a young kid doing some amazing things over there to East Idaho Aquarium, and then we've got training at the end that kind of a crucial thing for businesses. Every business should have a vision statement, and if you don't, we're going to coach you on how to get to that statement at the end of the show. But let's talk about our sponsors of the show. Couldn't do the show without them.
Yeah, we appreciate them too. BBSI's been there from the beginning, and if you have any sort of needs, business related, whether it's HR, payroll, coaching, getting another set of eyes on your business, these guys, they go out and find employees. I mean, they do it all.
They do. I was over there in a meeting today at BBSI for a couple hours, and wow. I just looked around at their staff, and there's no one on their staff that is just not top caliber. These guys take care of their clients. Absolutely. If you need any help in staffing, human resources, anything like that, you got to look up BBSI. They have it going on over there. So Jeremy and Mike and Clements, and they just have a great staff over there. Yeah. Jared, man, I was at a training with him for 2 hours today, and the guy is just amazing. So,
and what about Volpine Marketing, Ryan Jose and that group?
He was there too today, so absolutely great. They're celebrating 2 years of being in business. Yeah. And absolutely great. They do a great job of keeping us up to date on our website. New Line Media, the digs that we have behind us, doing a great job here.
Yeah, Tyson.
You need any kind of videography work, you got to look up New Line Media. And
the Idaho Innovation Center, Brian doesn't like to toot his own horn, but you do some great things over there. If you're an incubator or just starting, not only do you get space at a reduced rate, you also get some coaching, which is just super valuable to.
We turn the 95% of businesses that fail within 5 years. We're just the opposite. Yeah. Only 5% of our businesses aren't significantly prospering. So after 5 years, so yeah, Innovation Center is a great place to come see us. And then of course the SBDC, the biggest.
Best kept secret in Idaho.
Best kept secret in Idaho. So if your business from cradle to grave, we help businesses be successful at the Idaho Innovation Center and the Small Business Development Center.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the classes that we have. We have one class that's coming up here. It's called Systemizing Sales Strategies and Systemizing Sales for Success. And man, let me just tell you that if your business, and there's not a business out there that I don't know of that doesn't sell either a product or a service.
Yeah. Seems like that's it. Right?
It is. And this class, I have to say that if you sell anything in your business, you need to have someone in this class. Jared goes through the psychology of sales, of how do you present, how do you follow up, what are some key things that you say and you don't say in your presentations. No matter whether you're selling a product or a service, this class is absolutely amazing. But I can tell you that it's a class for every business, and it's only $149. And here's the promise that we guarantee: you will get your money's worth times 10. If not, I'll give you a full refund of the $149.
Wow, stands behind it.
That's right. Every class we do that at. So, but if you have any questions on that, there's a QR code there on the screen. I encourage you to look it up, but I can tell you, I can give you multiple people that have taken this class. This is, I think, the third time that he's taught it. Absolutely phenomenal feedback from every single person in the class. So you got to look that class up. So, and then we have another class. You've taken the class called Grow Your Business. We have it starting at the end of March. So
yeah,
we'll be talking about it. We don't even have a flyer up yet for it, but we'll have it here in next week. And we'll be talking about that. But if your business is in the phase to grow, then that is a great class. It's a very intense class, and it starts at the end of March for you. So we're excited for those classes that we have coming up here. So we're going to watch a couple videos.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. Who knows? Yeah. At least one. Maybe
That's
two.
right. We got
Could be
two, a couple videos here that are going to tell you a little bit about East Idaho Aquarium, and then we'll welcome, hopefully, Aaron Ferris to our set. So let's go ahead and watch those videos.
My name's Aaron Ferris. I'm the Executive Director at the East Idaho Aquarium. A lot of the things that we have to do, especially that are interesting here at the aquarium, we have lots of interactive exhibits. So we've got fish that you can feed, there are rays that you can feed, birds you can feed, lizards. We have the largest shark tank in Idaho with the most sharks in it. So it's the largest display of sharks. So that's also very cool. And then we've also, every Saturday at 2, mermaids get in with the sharks, and we have a mermaid show every Saturday. So that's always fun and exciting. We've done a lot of renovations. So one of the things we've done is we've redone the floors. We've done some upkeep on some of the exhibits that we weren't able to get to. We've upgraded a few of our filtration systems, so that way the water will be even better for some of the animals, especially those that have high traffic areas. And how the aquarium's set up is you walk through a bunch of salt water, you see the ocean life, and then you kind of get to a fresh water mixed in with some of the terrestrial animals where we've got our lizards that you can interact with, and then we end with the Idaho tank where you're able to see, the fish in Idaho and how it all comes together. The aquarium's kind of one of those things, you get what you want out of it. If you just want to look at things, you could walk through it real fast, but if you want to interact with everything, you could be here 2 or 3 hours. You can interact with the staff and see what they know about the animals. So it's phenomenal what we've got here, especially for Idaho Falls.
right. Wow.
Wow.
They got some stuff there.
That's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff happening
Yeah.
in East Idaho Aquarium. So
So how do you even get involved in putting an aquarium together like that?
Whoa, how do you get involved? That's definitely a dream. That was a dream of mine. So that was just me chasing dreams. So that's kind of how you get involved.
Yeah.
So you graduated from BYU, Idaho, had this dream of starting up an aquarium. You worked at another museum, and then you decided to get this up and going.
Yeah. So yeah, where it all started really is there were a few, 2013, I was working at PetSmart. There was a guy there that I worked with, and he cleaned fish tanks all around town, doctors' offices. People have seen them. So he saw how much I loved fish, and so he brought me on. We started cleaning it, and what we had noticed was, man, there's a lot of like boogers and kids putting their faces, and it's like kids would love this. And about the same time, the Boise Aquarium was getting in trouble, so we did some research, like how did they get started, what did they do? And yeah, it being my dream, I was like, yeah, if an aquarium is possible here, I'm gonna figure out what to do. I was in BYU Idaho as a fisheries major, ecology with fisheries, and I was failing out of that. My teachers like pulled me aside and they're like, this may not be the degree for you. It's like, man, but I love fish.
I love it when they do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so all that kind of just happened together. I was like, you know what, I'm going to switch over to business, and everything that I learn in business, I'm going to see if this area can support an aquarium. And it just kind of all went together. All my assignments were interesting then, because I was like, yeah, this is cool. And we wanted to set it up as a nonprofit, so that's where I actually did my internship at the Museum of Idaho. And I just went to them and I said, hey, this is what I want. I want to know how a nonprofit works. I want to know the ins and outs. I want to know everything you guys do. And so they were super excited, and I actually did such a good job that they called me back like 3 or 4 months later, like, we've got a job opening. Do you want to work here? And I was like, yeah, well, this is my ultimate goal. Like, I'm building this aquarium. I'm going to start it. So, I mean, I helped them. And yeah, we got really creative in how we raised funding, and right out of college and working at the museum, not really high paying, not a lot of money. So yeah, we started the aquarium. I think I had like $3,000 in my bank account. Somebody at the museum, one of the volunteers was like, hey, I really love what you're doing, wrote me a check for $500, and from there we just kind of went
$500.
$500,
Wow.
yeah. So we started everything you see over there with about $2,500.
Wow.
So a lot of man hours, a lot of it was an old movie theater, so and the lights were out. I mean, we had to throw, homeless people were living in there, so we're like,
I remember that.
you're not going to do this anymore. Kids would have parties in there, so I mean, the amount of like beer stains that we cleaned off, and like toothpicks and probably urine and everything were scrubbing off the walls. And so it was a lot of manpower, and there's things that I did that I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I was I'd never done construction. It's like, well, like, how do you get on YouTube? How do you get rid of little metal bits that are in the concrete? Well, get an angle grinder. So in there
you go,
grinding it. So YouTube's great. Nowadays you can do just about anything on YouTube.
And you've turned that place into I mean, so tell people what they're going to expect when they come see the aquarium.
Man, you're going to expect a whole lot of cool stuff. We've got just about everything that you can think of animal-wise. And so they're just interactive. Everything we do, we want people to learn through interactive experiences. So we've got fish that you can feed, and we've trained them to come eat. I mean, there's some people that are like, oh, here, have the fish. Like, no, get your hand in there. Let them eat out of your hands. We have a bird area. You can go in there, and the birds will land all over you and eat from your hands. We've got rays that'll eat from your hand. We've got
sharks. Do you have sharks?
Oh, of course we got sharks.
Of course. How can you have an aquarium without some sharks?
And like the video said, we've got the biggest shark tank in Idaho, so it's pretty impressive for us. I mean, the Boise Aquarium came over and they're like looking at us like, wow, you actually have to dive into this. We're like, yeah. They're like, yeah, we're waist deep in ours. Like, yeah, we wanted to go big. We wanted it to be awesome. We let people swim with the sharks. So if you want to swim with some sharks, this is the place to do it. Come sign up for an encounter and we'll get you in the shark tank swimming. People pet the sharks. And
do they really?
So, yeah. So everything we do. And so,
Sign me up, baby.
Yeah.
I've swam with them before, but I'll do it again, baby. So
so yeah, pet them. So one of the, I mean, really unique things is we're very different from the big aquariums because the big aquariums like just really massive exhibits, and you're like, wow, these are really cool. But you can't touch anything.
Yeah,
They're just
you're staring at it.
there's
Yeah.
no interaction. So I mean, they're impressive in that way, and we just wanted to be different than that. Like
Yeah.
if you want to go to Salt Lake and see the Loveland Planet Aquarium, it's amazing. We love it at the aquarium. We think it's great display, but we wanted to be different so that way we could support this and make it educational. And so what I did back in 2019 is I actually drove to Monterey Bay in
Yeah.
California, and I checked out that aquarium, and I wanted to know. I just went there with one thing. I was like, what do they do for interaction? Once I was done there, I drove all the way to Miami, Florida, and I hit every aquarium along the way, and I wanted to know, what are you guys doing that is interactive, or if it's not directly interactive, what's really cool? So a lot of our concepts came from other aquariums, just little pieces that I really liked.
wait, that's called research on the road,
Yeah,
baby. So
yeah.
I mean, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So that's really a lot of those concepts is just whatever I really liked. I was like, we're going to do that. Like if that aquarium can do it, we're going to do it. So that's actually where we have a sloth. And that was at the Dallas World Aquarium. They had this sloth just hanging in a tree, and people would sit there and take selfies with it. And I was like, yeah, that is, we had this idea, like we wanted a sloth. And I was like, an expensive animal, like I don't like, how can I justify this? And then when I saw that, I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That is how I can do it. People taking selfies, people, because then all of a sudden it's that interactiveness. It's like, wow, you know, you're in our gift shop and there's a sloth above your head crawling around.
Yeah.
So it just really, it tied it in. So that's everything we do is interactive. And if we have an exhibit that's not interactive and I go somewhere, it's like, oh, it's interactive here, I tear it down and we redo it so that way it can be interactive.
So then in Idaho, they just say, yeah, buy a sloth. Like there's a lot of regulations in states, right? Is that fair? So how do you even go about buying a sloth, I guess?
So our first step is we find the sloth.
Yeah.
We find there's breeders, there's people that import them in, and so we found it. Well, I guess very first is we made sure that Fish and Game, Department of Agriculture, the federal Department of Agriculture was okay with us bringing a sloth in.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, just, you know, this is what we're doing. We want to bring a sloth to East Idaho. Are you okay with it? This is what our concept is. And they're like, well, yeah, the concept's fine. And so then we would build the exhibit and we're like, how do you feel now? Like, are you still okay? And, you know, they're like, yeah, this is the best sloth exhibit I've ever seen. It's like, all right, well, then we're heading in the right direction. And then we would find the sloth. And then we would already had talked to Fish and Game. We had all of our permits lined up and we signed it up. It takes about a month for them to push it all through. And then and there's always constant communication with the person we were with. And so our sloth actually came from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And so flew out there and drove her back.
I thought you were going to say you flew back. I didn't know. Do you have to buy a ticket for a sloth that sits on your lap?
I wish. That would have made it. So the thing with sloths, they're very temperamental about the temperature and their environment. And so just going outside could only be a few seconds, and we couldn't ensure her safety flying across the country. And so, I drove. It was like 33 hours, 34 hours. Yeah. In a vehicle that was 80 degrees.
Wow.
So straight.
That had to have been joyful.
Sounds like me and my Volkswagen Bug on a
there you go.
Day. Yeah, it's just normal for me.
Man,
yes, it is. Yeah. So then you like a Bengal tiger, is that something you could have in Idaho? I got.
Yeah, we could do it.
Wow.
But
I want to see the interactive with that one though.
At our facility, they'd probably take it away.
Yeah.
We'd get in trouble and they'd take it away. But that's what. All of them are like, we can't stop you from getting anything.
Right.
We can just tell you this isn't right and we'll take it.
Yeah.
So
that's probably rightly so. Right?
Yeah. So, but we could definitely, we have all the permits, and to get a tiger, we could get a health certificate for it and fly it in, and then they'd come like check it out and be like, no.
So it's beyond the aquarium. You have birds, you have sloths, and things like that. That people can interact with.
Yeah. So all sorts of. Yeah, the birds, the sloth is one of our most popular. It's kind of weird to me because we get a lot of people that are upset about the sloth. It's like, just sleeping. It's like, that's what
That's
sloths do.
what they
Like
do. That's why they're
they sleep
sloths.
20 hours a day. Well,
Wow.
can you wake it up? Nope, I'm not gonna wake. That's for her health. I was like, you can catch her at 11 a.m. We bring her out and train her, and then like 30-40% of the time at 7:30, right on the dot, she'll come climb around on the
Wow.
ropes and say hi to people. But other than that, she's in her house, and there's an acrylic bottom, and you can actually look up and see her and take pictures with the
Yeah.
bottom of a sloth.
Yeah.
So
Because you kind of mentioned it there, but you have to keep. It's more than just getting them. You have to keep these things healthy, whether
Yeah.
it's the birds or the reptiles or the fish. There's still magic to the system, right?
Yeah.
Because in the
That's-
aquarium itself, the water, pH levels and nitrites and the whole bit, right?
all of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our number one. Is the animals are our main priority. We want them to be healthy. We want them to be safe, and then after that, we want the guests to be safe interacting with them. But above everything, we're gonna say, hey, this animal, if a sloth's gonna sleep, we're gonna let it sleep. We're
Yeah.
not gonna wake it up for your enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to see it, come at 11.
Yeah.
Try to come at 7:30, because they're two different experiences. The one at 11 and 7:30 with the sloth. But even if some of the fish are like acting weird, we're like, okay, we're closing this down. We're not sure what's going on. But in all of our exhibits, they're all big enough. They're all different enough that there is a place for those animals to get away from people. The birds can fly into a corner, and even if you want to crawl up, like, they're going to be so far away from you, aren't going to mess with them. So that's big on us. Like, the animals like to interact with people, but like people, when they're done with people, they can go away.
Yeah.
People can like go into a room and say, leave me alone.
Yeah.
The animals have no way to say, leave me alone.
Yeah.
And so that for us was, we're going to build caves for them. We're going to build, they can just get super far away, so that way, because animals have a fight or flight. Like, so they're going to either, first they want to run away. If they can't get away, they're going to start fighting, which is bad. People
Yeah.
are going to get hurt. And so that's number one for us, is always the health of the animal.
Wow.
In the picture that we had that we promoted your show, being on the show, you had a picture of you holding an alligator.
Yeah.
Are they people even going to get in and find an alligator? A
I
crocodile? Where was this at?
I found that was in Florida.
Oh, it was. Okay, so
yeah.
it's not going to be found at the East Idaho Aquarium.
We do have a caiman. We don't let anybody hold it, but it's definitely, you can go and see a caiman, which is in the crocodilian family. It's really cool. So we've got a 4-foot one, and then we have a little baby that's probably 12, 14 inches, somewhere in there. That'll eventually grow into that exhibit. But you can definitely see a caiman. It's like a crocodile. Most people call it crocodile or an alligator, but very different species.
Well, and a stingray. You have stingrays there?
We do have stingrays. Yeah, we've got 3 different varieties. I guess 4. We have 4 varieties. So we have an Atlantic ray, an Atlantic stingray. We have a California spotted stingray, and then we have bat rays and cownose rays. And most people are more familiar with not that they're familiar, but they like the cownose and bat rays, because they're the ones, they're friendly, they pet, they take really good pictures as you're feeding them. And so yeah, those are, I think, everybody's favorite. They come in like, yep, those are our soggy puppy dogs.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
yeah, that's what they're really cool. They eat right out of people's hands. Every time somebody comes up to the window, they're up there like begging for food.
Yeah.
So, and people are like, whoa, these are so that's always the cool thing, is people are always like, yeah, I went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, but their rays didn't do this. It's like, yeah, ours are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our rays are awesome. So
That is a pretty cool. I've been to that aquarium as well. And
the Monterey Bay one,
yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So huge facility. So, but the rays definitely not.
yeah.
They're not friendly like ours.
So what has growth been? Well, how long have you been open, and what's growth been like for you guys?
Growth has been huge for us, especially this past 1.5, 2 years.
So COVID's actually helped your business.
Yeah, it skyrocketed through the roof. It was crazy. But yeah, we've been open 2017, the whole solar, that eclipse thing. So that was when I think it was October 2017. And we opened as a work in progress. So we had a lot of people say we weren't going to make it through Christmas. And Like,
I
I
remember
bet
those
we
days.
will. So, and it was rough. It was not great. Like, and everybody there knew it. But I think what was good is the people that had passes that would come every week, and they're like, wow, these people aren't just like taking our money and running. Like, everything we did went right back into the aquarium, and so
Right.
they saw every week it was getting better, it was getting better, it was getting better. And we've carried that concept even through now. Like, we're always like, yep, we can make this better, we can make it better, we can do this better. And so we're never stagnant. We're constantly moving, we're constantly changing, we're constantly making things better. But yeah, that was, we shut down our busiest. We always like, January gets pretty busy, February's a little bit busier, March like booms, like we got spring break and it's always huge. And then it kind of stays consistent, April, May, June, July, August, and then September we slow way down.
So during COVID, you actually shut down for 3 months.
For 3 months, March, April, May,
Wow.
and then part of June. So, which was really scary because when you're like, yeah, this is our busiest months, and I was like, man, they're gonna spit us out right in our slow time. And I was like, I don't know if we're gonna make this.
Yeah.
Like, it was incredibly scary. But yeah, as soon as we opened, it was like we had never closed, and people were so anxious to do something. And for us, it was really a blessing because there was so much stuff that we wanted to get done, but we always had people, and we're like, we'll never get this done. So shutting down, we were able to just change the complete appearance of the aquarium and make it so much better. And so I think that was the huge part. People came and were like, wow, this is not the aquarium that we remember.
Yeah.
And we just took that and we just took off. And in 2021, we had more people come in 2021 than we did any of the other years combined.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, 17, 8. I mean, I guess 2020 wasn't really fair since we,
Yeah.
but all the same, it was just exploded, and we're still on the same path
Well,
this year. So
I can tell you that everybody that I've had and I haven't been there personally, but I'm going to take my kids and grandkids there. And, but I can tell you, everybody that I've talked to has just gave raving reviews of what the experience that they have there.
yeah, and I think it wasn't that way at the start, but because of all of our work, and it's really everybody that works there, just a tribute to them, just constantly wanting to change. And I think it's because we have something for everybody. There's people that don't like birds, but then they like fish that you stick your hand in there and they're cleaning your hands, or there's a shrimp that's cleaning your hands, or there's a lizard for somebody and they're like, oh my goodness, there's or a porcupine that you can pet and feed, or there's just something for everybody. So it's hard not to like it. You just kind of walk through and you're like, wow, there's of an aquarium. Like, I think when you go to an aquarium, there's one thing that you want to see, and for the most part, we've got everything you could possibly want to see plus more. And then usually you get to interact with it.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those like, oh, I got to see it, and I got to interact with it. Like, whoa, like, and so it's.
I've taken my grandkids, well, my kids and grandkids, and I'll say the parakeet thing. I didn't go in, but that was the funniest thing. You go in and these birds just come and you have food and they fly on you. My little 1-year-old granddaughter was not as thrilled as I thought she'd be, but it was funny for me to watch. I'll say that. I don't know that she enjoyed it quite yet. I think she will eventually, but in the beginning she was a little bit like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I have a video of it that I
No,
think's funny,
that's
so.
a lot of people's favorites as well. And that was one, they kind of stop eating because there's like just food that we'll give them, and then when they're done with food, they're just done for the day. And so that was one, was like, well, let's change it. Let's make the cage bigger. So we made it 4 times as big and got 4 times as many birds, and now the birds come down all day long, and people are just, I mean, it's huge. I mean, on Saturdays, there's a 45-minute line to get into the parakeet exhibit. So it is
fun.
Crazy.
That's awesome. Well, we have every one of that we have on the show fills out a questionnaire. One of the questions we have is what are some advice that you could give entrepreneurs? And I want to read this. You always hear, don't be afraid to fail. You never really know what that means until you try something you have never done before. By simply saying, I don't know how to do that, so I'm going to have someone else do it, is afraid of failing. Why not just jump in and give it a shot? Figure it out, like you said, on YouTube. You certainly have a lot of money by doing things yourself. Just jump in and go. And I love that advice. And you took that literally when you built this business.
Yeah. So that's one of those. when you go to the business school, that's all I ever heard. Like, don't be afraid to fail. Don't. It's like, well, I'm not afraid to fail. And then there'd be like, I'd be at my house and it's like, oh, the plumbing is like clogged up. And so I was like, well, call the plumber.
Yeah.
And now I would never. Like now I've done plumbing so many times and electrical and all of that. It's just like I never went to school for that. I just like hooked up and like got on YouTube, learned it, asked somebody. And so it's crazy how much fear I think people actually have of doing something. And it's usually like, I don't know how to do it. It's like, well, just do it. Like what could possibly go right? You work with some electricity, get shocked. Like it ain't gonna kill you. Like you're fine. I've been shocked so many times. Like I mean, if you're working with plumbing, you're gonna make a mess. Like I've made so many mistakes. I'm like, well, what do we do now? Like, let's fix it. So it's definitely one of those things. Like you always hear it. Like, don't be afraid. And I guess I never really knew what it meant until I was like, oh, that makes sense now. Like I really was afraid to do this, just of doing it wrong, doing it like who cares? Like
this younger generation, man, that's it. They just figure it out. And if they can't figure it out themselves, where do they go to?
YouTube.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's all there, and that's what the age of technology that we're in. So absolutely phenomenal what you've got going over there. We wish you the best. Is there anything else that you want the community here, whether it's, I mean, we have watchers throughout Idaho. What do you want them to know about East Idaho Aquarium?
The East Idaho Aquarium is just going to continue to grow. It's continue to get bigger. And it's a wonderful thing to support. That most people don't know that we're actually a nonprofit. The city doesn't own us. I think some people think, oh, it's a nonprofit, so the city's probably taking it. We're not. We're a private nonprofit organization, and so we only are here is because of the support of the community. We've had tons and tons of people give generous donations just to help us get opened, stay opened, and so that's the biggest. I mean, we love it. We love the animals. Love all of the support.
Where are you located? Tell everybody where you're located. So if you want them to come see you got to tell them.
We are 570 East Anderson. We're right next to Fred Meyer and Bullfrog Spas. So
in between them, sandwiched in between them.
In between them. So if you're trying to look for it, you can't really miss us. We've got a big blue mural. We've got we've got our big a big yellow van that's got huge tires on it that's jacked up. Yep. So it's you can't really miss us anymore.
On the backside of Fred Meyer.
Backside.
It's absolutely, they've got a big old box car that's got a big old logo, thanks to Seeger Built. I think built that.
Yep, Seeger Built.
So absolutely great, but you can't miss them. You got it. Make it. Add it to what you want to do this spring break, summer, whatever it is. Put the East Idaho Aquarium on your to-do list. If you haven't already been there, if you have been there, you probably should go back because you'll probably maybe not miss the sloth or the parakeets or all the other sharks, rays, whatever it is. They probably have something new. So thank you, Aaron, for being here. Now we end every show with a quote, and you kind of stumped us, me and my assistant, with this one. So we have everybody. We've done this for almost a year and a half, but I've never had this quote. We've had multiple quotes multiple times, but this one is not one that I've had. So explain this quote.
Okay, well, so the quote is, "For those that didn't believe in the kid, you might as well be dead, because what y'all thought couldn't be done, I did." I'm like Ray Charles. I don't see none of y'all. So that was, it's from a Pitbull song. And the biggest thing, nobody really believed in me. That was the one thing. They're all like, oh, this is just a kid wanting to build a tree house, and so nobody wanted to believe in me. And then it was just like, well, and then once I did get it going, there were people that they were really mean. There was like years of just, and I talked to people and I was like, this is what's going on. They're like, wow, normally this happens over the course of 10, 15 years and you're getting it all in like a year or two. And I mean, mentally, it just destroyed me. I mean, it drug me down. It's like, all I'm trying to do is something good for the community. Why is there so much hate? Why are people trying to shut me down? Why are people doing this? And it finally, I was listening to this song and I was like, yeah, that's people didn't believe in me. And then when they saw how cool it was, they wanted to get rid of me so that way they could have my spot in it. And it's like in bad reviews, it's like I just kind of look at it and it's like, well, is this true? If it is, let me fix it. If not, like, I'm not going to look at you. Like, I guess I'm just not going to see you. Like, it's just a lot of jealousy. And I've had lots of people like, oh, how did you do this? Like, I've tried to do this before and I couldn't make it happen. It's like, well, we got creative. I made it happen. Like, this is what I did. And so really it was this quote really helped me get through a lot of my hard times that I had starting it up, because I had no idea how mean
everyone's got to have a mean opinion. Not
people
everybody,
were like, and I mean, there was like a year or so that I just had to deal with, I think, things that people have no idea. And it gave me a respect for every person who's owned a business or started a business, or just because I was like, wow, I can't believe there were people that I thought were my friends and my family, and there was family just going around spreading terrible rumors. And I was like, what is wrong with these people?
Let me flip that around. I was at a meeting this morning. I was with Chip from the Chamber of Commerce, and he goes, who do you have on the show today? And I told him Aaron Ferris, and he said, I'm going to watch the show. I love that guy. He's a super businessman. So that's the kind of things that I've been told about you. It's absolutely phenomenal. And kudos to making a significant business here. And you've got my commitment. I will be there in the next 4 months. I'm giving myself till June, till summer's out. But I will be at the East Idaho Aquarium because of all the good things.
The grandkids are gonna appreciate it.
Oh,
they will.
They'll love it.
Yep.
So, and I think that's one of the big things is there are a lot of negative, but on the opposite, there's definitely a lot of positive that helps. But it's always the negative that seems to pull you down. You got to find something that's like block them off, blind them.
Listen to it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sounds
good. Good. Well, we appreciate you being here, Aaron, and stay tuned. We have a gift certificate. What is that we're going to be giving away?
Tickets to the aquarium.
Tickets to the aquarium. All right. If you're interested, we're going to ask a trivia question at the end. Do not let me forget to do that at the very end. So thank you, Aaron, for being here. And we end every show with talking about a training segment. Today we wanted to talk about vision statements. This is one of the basics of being in business. And is you need to have a vision statement. If you don't have an idea of where you're going, you're probably going to be part of the 95% of businesses that fail. Is that right?
Yeah, and maybe that's why you have such a high success rate, because that's one of the things that you
coach and train them all of this. In fact, I'm going to be training this in our Elevate Business class tonight, 5:30, and so we will be teaching all about vision statements and mission statements and elevator pitches and unique selling propositions, things that are crucial for business, but vision statements right at the very top of the list of the important things that you got to have a vision for your business. And so let's just go through and talk about some of the things. I think I got one. Got it. So a vision statement is what gives the company direction. It describes the future of the business, emphasizing its overall purpose. It is what your company wants to become. So with vision statements, you're actually looking about 5 to 10 years down the road of what you want to become in your business. And it is meant to be aspirational. Is that the word?
Inspirational, but yes, aspirational.
Aspirational works too. Key questions that can guide your vision statement are, go ahead and read number 1.
What are the hopes and dreams for the company? I mean, and Aaron's like, I'm going to bring sharks to Idaho. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a pretty big vision,
Yep.
but not very many people have had, right? So good for you.
You got to have that. Had he not had that vision of doing that, it would have never happened. What problem are we solving for the greater good? And then last, who and what are we aspiring to change? And we have down here at the bottom, and if anyone would like to see these, but I love some of these vision statements of some of the companies in there. Nike, we all know Nike, to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. Walmart, be the destination for customers to save money no matter how they want to shop. So they're really they're changing the way people shop as well. Google, to provide access to the world's information at one click. What more describes Google than that?
I got some other descriptive things, but I won't.
But what is your vision of your business? And if you need help with that, come see us at the Innovation Center at the SBDC, and we will help you get a mission statement, a vision statement. We'll help you get all those things, because the more things like this that you have, the more chances you have of being successful. So if you would like a copy of this, then let us know and we can send this out. And I have some actual worksheets, about a 6-page worksheet that helps you determine what your mission and vision is. And it helps with people, and I encourage people to do it both in their personal life and their business life.
Yeah.
And to have those. And I've got some worksheets that if you would like some help with vision and mission statements, feel free to reach out there. Go ahead and put my cell phone number up there. We're going to need it here. And we'll and you can text me, and I'll text me your email address, and I will send you the workbook. If your business is in need of vision and mission statements, you can text me at the 208-520-9400, and we will get you those worksheets. So I encourage you to have a vision statement as well as everything else, mission statement, everything else for your business. So all right, let's ask a trivia question.
What's a good
You're supposed to come up with a trivia question.
I'm sitting here looking at Aaron like maybe he should have a trivia question, but
Well, I got it.
all right.
You mentioned that there was 4 types of
Yeah, I was going with the ray. That's where I was headed.
stingrays
Yeah.
out there.
Name
So
one.
if you can name a type of stingray out there, we're going to give you a pair of tickets to go see the aquarium. So text me. There's the number, 208-520-9400. What kind of stingrays do they have at the East Idaho Aquarium? So thank you, Aaron, for being here.
Yeah.
And being on some Talkin Business next week.
We got
Heidi
Heidi
Blumel.
Blumel. I almost said Brumel, but that's not Brumel. It's Blumel.
Blumel.
Yeah.
She is a franchisor of the Suntan City.
Yeah.
And she is she's involved with TEDx. She does trainings all over the country. She's, not just an entrepreneur, but she's a trainer and a speaker. And we're excited to have Heidi on the show next week. So she'll be on here. We've got some great shows coming up. We're getting planned for March as well. So hope you stay tuned and keep watching us each and every week. Look, we survived 2/22/22
We made it.
at 2:22 in the afternoon.
Yeah, we were all there.
We covered it, and nothing changed.
Nothing ended.
Nothing ended. So thank you for joining us today for Talkin Business. We'll see everybody next week. Give us a thumbs up, Aaron. That's our slogan. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, my name is Erica Olson. Welcome to today's whiteboard session on how to write a vision statement. Vision statements are a critical component to any great strategic plan. And the reason why is because strategic plans are about creating a different future. And that future is articulated in your vision statement. It needs to be succinct and clear and understandable, but it needs to paint a picture for where you're going and why. And that's your critical word to remember is where. We often get mission and vision confused, so the way that you keep them distinct is by making sure that your vision statement articulates where. Where are we going? What does success look like in the future? Let's talk about the different types of vision statements, a checklist to make sure yours is great, and then we'll break down how it comes together and wrap it up with a quick how to do it for yourself. So there are 3 different types of vision statements that come in 3 different flavors, really. The first is quantitative. So a revenue number maybe, or maybe like a number of things. In this case, every kid, that's an expression of a quantitative vision statement. Competitive is about sounding like beating your competition or better than your competition. I don't see these very often, so I wouldn't use that. The third one is superlative, like premier, number 1, the best, also super common. Okay. Here's your checklist. It's a great checklist to make sure that your vision statement truly is a vision statement. Let's break it down. Vision statements are at least 5 years in nature or longer. 5 years is a really good guide. In this case, by 2025. Future tense, I talked about that already. Make sure we say where. I love we envision. That's super future looking. And then of course we have the word will in there as well. So future tense verbs. It's directional. Again, we're not there today. Reaching every kid starts to explain that. Audacious, same deal. Every kid in our community, that's big. Visions are about big. And descriptive. Academically, through high school and beyond, it starts to paint a picture. We expanded it by adding some more descriptors here about how the world will look different. Remember, your vision statement is your North Star, and we want to be able to see that North Star. So let's create a clear picture. So let's break this down a little bit further so you can put yours together. We envision. I like to start vision statements like that because it gets us in the right frame of mind. You might get rid of it later, but it's a good place to start. The impact that we're making in the world. What is different? Be clear that you spell that out. And then what the world looks like. You may not always include these in all of your vision statement prints, if you will, but it's nice to really kind of describe it and not be constrained by something super, super tight and synthesized. The tip on these is I like to use these as a starting place to develop strategic objectives. It's a great way to tie everything together. So how do you create one? Well, you might already have an idea for your vision, in which case, get after it, write it down. If you don't, Google cover story vision, awesome instructions on pulling your team together and getting the creative juices going. So my last tip is leaders, focus on the future. You can't lead if you don't have a vision. So hopefully this helps you put yours together. That's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Happy strategizing.